When you start grading using Gerber Accumark software, you're going to want to start by opening Accumark Explorer. It works very much like Windows Explorer, but they're not the same. Don't go into Windows. And we will be working in our own space. And to create your own space, you're going to click on the C drive and then come up to the top where it says File, New, V9 Storage Area, and then you're going to put your name there. And in that storage area, you'll have a group of files that you need to use to create your pieces and work with them. If you'll go to the P drive into grading practice and highlight A1 Ladies and hold down the Shift key and also copy Plumeria and Toddler grading. Then take it back up and put it into your file folder. It's usually safer to use paste components. I also have another one that I was just playing with that I'm going to put in there. Okay. So these are grade rule libraries. And when you open them, it shows your base size, that it's a numeric grade. There are two sizes between each steps. My smallest size is size 4, and my size breaks, and my largest size. Right now I'm in the Rule tab. When I click on the Grade Rules tab, it shows where my size breaks are, and the first one is 0 throughout all of my size breaks. And then this is where we're going to set up our grading later. But you switch back and forth between the rule table itself that tells it what sizes there are and how many size breaks, and where the rules are, like we've seen in the book, that tell it how much to grow on the graph. And if you make changes, then you'll want to save, but I haven't made changes. In Toddler, it's grading by one step with a base size of 3, smallest size of 2, and then it's just 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plumeria is alphanumeric. It has a base size of small. Smallest size is extra small. And then it grades up through extra large. And the grade rules on that one start out with 0, and they're consistent through all of the sizes on the part that we're looking at. Then A1 Ladies is a women's grade, obviously, base size 12, 2 steps, smallest size 8, largest size 20. Every size grades the same, and so it has more grade rules in it. But the ones that we can see are all grading consistently, and you can go further over, and I'm not seeing any in this one that have actual size breaks. Okay, the user environment is currently set up for metric, and if we don't want to be working in metric, so I double-clicked on user environment, I'm going to change it to imperial and click on the little save icon. And any anytime you want to, you can pause this and catch back up. So that was user environment. It's easier if you do that in advance. And right now, that's all you need, but you need some pieces to play with. And the ones that we've been practicing in our grading on are in zero share, not on every computer, but on this one. We have in zero share one that's called Basic Sloper 13. If I right click on that, I'm going to look and make sure it's the pieces I want. And I'm going to open in a separate work area. So this is where they are. And okay, apparently that's all of them. So there's a back that I've moved the dart to a weird place. So this back and front go with each other. And the front skirt lines up with the front bodice. And the back skirt with the back. And then all of these pieces match. There's really no difference other than they're combined and they're different lengths. And this isn't the same sleeve you've been using. I'll have to make sure that I find that sleeve for you. Okay. So I happen to be in the pattern design program. I'm not expecting you to be there yet, but I'm going to create a new file and a different work area that's empty. Okay, so I'm back in Accumark Explorer. You've gone to the C drive of the computer you're sitting in. You click on C, come up to File, create a new V9 storage area. And once you create that and give it your name, you need to bring in one grade rule library from, I think Zero Share has, yeah, those will work. And then if you would click on Basic Sloper 13 and right click and say copy, and then right click on your name and then paste components. Make sure you paste the components because that will bring all of the files in to I'm working with Sally. So I want to change these. You probably don't need that one. In fact, I would right click on that one and delete it. But your blouse back and front, all of your pieces, you want to rename them with your name. So add your name at the beginning so that they all come together. And if you just click on it a second time, I know there's a faster way to do this, but you're just going to go down and change it so that it has your name on it. And these we are considering as size 12. You can see that right here. So just change it to your name and then keep the name that's already on the piece so it's easy to use. And some of you may have done this in class already, but a review is always helpful. So just highlight the part you want gone and put your name at the front of it. That way you won't overwrite other people's pieces when you're using them. Okay, and the in the sleeve means that it's not matching yet. So when you're using the pieces, remind me. Okay, so now we want to create a model, and the easiest way to do that is to click on the name of the folder, then come up to File and say New, and you want a new model. And the model file is going to come up here and it's empty. And if you click on the first number in the larger square and then the dots, then that will bring up all of the pieces that we just made. So I'm going to highlight the first one, push down the Shift key, just like in regular Explorer, and then touch the last one, and they all come in and it opens, and you can see what they look like as it comes down. And they are all there. So I'm going to save that. And that's your first, it's asking me for a name. So I want to call that one Sally Basic Sloper. Okay. And then I can close that. So now you have the basic sloper and you have your own. You probably can just right click and delete that. So now you just have one. And it's Sally and it has all of these pieces in it, but yours will have your name on it. Alright, so we're through with Explorer for a while. Sometimes if you have a problem seeing everything that you need to, you can come across the top to the tab that says View and refresh, and then refresh file list. Sometimes if all of the drives are not showing, you'll need to bring that up, but please stay primarily in the C drive in your work environment. Okay, so I've double-clicked on the pattern design program, and the way to navigate around this is going to be a lot easier now that you have your own file folder. So this is what the pieces looked like originally, and I'm just going to close that. So when you make a new work area, well, you don't need an extra one right now, but anytime you want a second one, you would just open a new work area. Okay, but I'm going to close it. So I want to come up to File, Open, and I'm in a different folder, so I'm going to click the down arrow. I'm going to go to Sally, and I'm in Model. I could switch to Pieces. When I switch to Piece, you can see all the pieces, but I want to open all of them. The model is just a piece list. So I'm going to click on that and open it, and all of the pieces that I want to play with are there. And this is the first one that we worked with. And it's going to be important to have the pieces oriented the same way that you were working on them. So we may need to flip the pieces over, and in order to flip it easily from one side to the other, if necessary, I'm going to come up to create a line and click on the down arrow to perpendicular on line, and I'm just going to touch the green line and pull out a line right there and say okay. If it comes out half, that's fine. So now we have this little line on there that we can use to flip our pieces, and you can do that with any of them that you need to flip a different direction. So if I come up to modify the piece, I'm going to flip it about a line, and I'm flipping it around that one, and then I'm going to right click and say OK. When it says select the line to flip about and selection to continue up here, and you want to be looking in the little user input box, it's telling you what it wants. So I selected the line, and then it says end selection to continue, and that just means say OK. It should say click OK to continue or something like that, but that's what it means. So I flipped the piece around so that it's easier for you to work with. Or you can flip it around so it's easier for you to work with. Then if I want to, I can save it that way. And to save it that way, I'm just going to go up to save. It says to select the pieces to save. That's not what I need to do. In order for it to stay that way permanently, I have to come up to realign and realign the grain line. So I'm going to touch the grain line, and it flipped over the other way. It also moved, but it's fine where it is. So you'll say OK. And now, if you save it because you want it to stay that direction, just say OK. All right, so at this point, we could start grading our pieces, and to do that, we have to create our rule library. So rather than keep working with this one that doesn't have a grade, I'm going to set that thought aside for a minute. So I'm going to come up to File, New, and in this work area, I'm going to come back up to File, Open, and on the P drive, well, actually, in your C drive, you can come in to Data 90 and open that. And in Data 90, you've got a variety of pieces. And if I open the blouse and I highlight all the pieces and then touch the last one, they will all appear down here. And this is part of the explanation that's on the computer. And so these all correspond with that file that you just put in that was A1 Ladies. So we need to make sure this is the collar and probably the cuff that goes with the sleeve and our front and back. So I'm going to come up to the top where it says Edit and then Customize. If you look down here at the bottom where it says IMP, that means you're in Imperial. If it's in metric, then you need to fix it. If it's in metric, come up here to where it says User Environment and click on metric and then Imperial again. Just whatever it is, make it so it has to change, and then the box will make it so that you can click on it. When I'm in Imperial, I usually like to be out to 3 decimal places, so now I have a reason to save it, and it will save. So that put me in Imperial. Now, still in the Edit tab, we're going to come over to the Customize, and then over to Paths. And in Paths, I'm in the C drive, but I'm not in the right file folder, so I need to change that to Sally, or whatever the name you're using. It says P-notch, that's what it has to be, and then down here under the last one where it says Rule Table, choose A1 Ladies and apply and save, and then say OK, because that means it's going to use all of the grade rules from A1 Ladies. You're going to create your own rule library that has your name on it when you're working on your pieces. But right now we're just looking at what will happen when we get to that point. So now we're going to come back over to grade, which is where we're going to spend most of our time. And the rule table has already been assigned to these, and if I want to see what they look like, I'm going to come up to all sizes, and it says over here in the box that we need to read where it communicates with us. It says select pieces to display the nest and selection to continue. Well, I want to see all of them, so I'm going to touch all of them. And then it says end selection to continue, and that means click on OK. And I did, and there's all of our sizes. And while you're there, we can work and play with edit delta just to see what they're doing. So if I want to edit this point, I'm going to highlight that corner, and then I'm going to say OK. And now it's showing me what it's doing. In the X direction, it's moving less than 1/4 of an inch, and in the Y direction, it's moving more. And I could change some of those. I could clear the X direction or the Y direction. I could update it. I can go to the next one. So as I click on next, it's going to move around, and you can see that little line moving with it, and it's aiming in the direction that the grading is going. You can also see in this particular one, they're not specifically grading the notches, they're just letting it float. And that works if the sleeve is floating the same way. Okay, so that's looking at the piece, looking at how it's graded, and the beginning of looking at editing. If you click on size breaks and show the pieces for their size breaks, there is no change because they're all grading the same. But the piece that's filled in yellow is the base size. So you can see where it's filled in yellow out to here. So when you're choosing, only the point that's part of the base size will let you choose it. So if I go back to edit delta again, do you see how when I choose that, it really only highlights on that one corner. And that's the corner that belongs to the base size piece. Then my favorite thing to play with is up here where it says restack, and that's where you have the new stack point, so you can choose any corner and they make that your stack point. I mean, that one isn't really helpful, but you can see how you can change it so you can think about it differently when you want to make changes. Okay, back over here, I didn't point out to you that this icon flipped when the piece flipped, so now you know it's permanent because it has changed. The other thing, I hope nobody actually cut the rule libraries out when I did. That was a mistake. I meant copy, and I said copy, but I actually cut. So let me know if there's a problem, and I'll help you fix it. Okay, here's another example. It's just in the pieces. I opened another one, and that was, if I went to File, Open, we're still in Data 90. You've got examples of multiple types of things. And then all sizes again, choose all of the pieces, say OK, and they're all graded. But all of the examples are kind of chicken because none of them have variable grade rules like we're going to be putting in. Okay, the easiest way to create a new grade rule library, where am I? In your area, you have your 4, and I have put them all over on the P drive. In grading practice, all 4 of them are now there, and you have plumeria graded dress, and maybe while I'm at it, I will actually copy this one and paste it into here. So now you can do all of your copying from P drive grading practice. These are just some more examples if I wanted to open them. And I like that one because it's a different kind of an example. So well, that's one way to open a model. That's the back side of a model. So if I add plumeria to if I add this one that's down in grading practice and I open that one, I think that's a fun one. So for the moment, I'm going to come over here to modify the top, the little tab. I'm going to click on modify and delete, and I'm going to delete all the pieces from my work area. They didn't get deleted, they're just gone from the work area. So now I can come over and highlight all 4 of those and click on them, and they come down. And this one I think is fun because when you come over to grade and choose all sizes, you can actually see how this one fits together with the pieces, and then how the side seams match up. And if you zoom in, where's the one I want? This one is going to be easier to understand if I change the stack point. So if I stay in grade, go to restack, and I choose the center front as my stack point and say okay, and you have to say okay in between or you can't pick up the piece and move it around. So when I've changed the stack point, it's easy to see how they line up and how it lines up on the shoulder. And that's an easy way to check grading, is to make sure that they're aligned properly. And I don't have it quite perfectly there, but you can see how you've got 2 separate pieces in the front and 1 piece in the back, and they align together. And it made a difference when I changed the stack point. Okay, I'm going to highlight Sally because I want to create my own grade rule. And if I open Sally 1, what you're going to want to do when you create your grade rule library is make it look similar to this. So I'll close that for a minute. Highlight Sally, and then not right click on it. Come up to File. So you've highlighted Sally in your C drive or your name. Come up to File, New, and then down to Rule Table. And because of what we're doing with the book, and I'll pause now and show you the book. this is showing a few things out of the book, and you can see that you've got your 3 different bodice backs. One is a 1-inch grade, the next one is 1.5 inches, and the third one is a 2-inch, and below that you can see, and I've circled incremental because I really only want you looking at incremental for this. The 1-inch grade applies to sizes 4 through 10. Then the 1.5-inch grade applies through from 10 to 16, and the 2-inch grade applies from 16 to 20. And the way I've said that is a little bit confusing, but the size break, when you look at it up there where it says 3 size breaks, the size break is between 10 and then 16. And to translate that into working with the computer, you have the same 3 size breaks. And in the rule table that you're creating, you need to make it so it's a numeric grade, base size of 12, size step of 2, because 2, 4, 6, 8. Then your smallest size will be a 4. Your size break will be the 10, then the 16, and your largest size is 20. When you click on the tab down below, instead of rule table over to rules, you are, and in rule 1, both X and Y are 0 for all 3 size breaks. And we're going to start changing those from being the same to having different. That puts us back here. I've opened a blank rule table. I'm in See Sally and in an untitled rule table. So I'm going to keep it as numeric. I could have alphanumeric, but I want numbers. My base size is 12, so I'm going to enter a 12. My size step is 2. My smallest size is 4. Then my next size break is a 10. The size break is 16, the next one, and my largest size is a 20, and that's where it stops. And then down here under rules, you can see that I don't have any rules entered yet, but those are my size breaks. And my base size is in this section with the star, and it's a size 12, but I don't have to tell it that, just where the size breaks are. Okay, so now I'm going to save this, and it would work better if you put your name on it. So type your name and give it a number, because maybe you'll want to change it, and then say save. And I'm going to cancel and close this one, because I already have that one started. And then in the rule table section, the next thing we're going to do for your computer homework assignment is going to in the book that the incremental sizes, and the number 1 is 0 everywhere. Number 2, we're going to change the X and Y to be exactly what rule number 2 is in the book, and rule number 3, and so on, until you've got all of the rules that we've worked with from the bodice front and back, the sleeve, and the skirt front and back. Enter all of those rules in there. And then it will be ready to start grading our pieces. But you'll just, and I'm trying to remember what rule 2 is, but they're all different. I think it seems like the middle one was an 8, so that's .125, and the next one would be a 16th more, and the smaller one would, well, I'll look it up and just quit talking. But it's in the book. You'll enter all three different ones, and you'll make the X ones under the X number and the Y under the Y number, and then move on to the next. And when you're through, save it.